I'm very happy to see you all here today in this beautiful place. Um, I would be happy if someone could be our official professional photographer today. See you all here today. This beautiful place. Um, I would be happy if someone could be our official professional photographer today. Bam, done. No problem. Yeah, no problem. I took off the sound there. I'm using, so we have a live stream and we see ourselves on the live stream in live. In that way, I definitely know what other people are seeing because each time we have a problem, we have an event and then we never check what's happening on live stream, and then on live stream it's just a banana. So this time I was smart. And so, yeah, at least someone, I need someone to make pictures because I'm here, my phone is here, I will not do pictures. Oh, and I forgot the most important thing. Yes, I need to put this beautiful paper or I will have problems. Up. Look, now this gets more professional. You see? Done. Okay, and later I will give you this beautiful paper. And if you work in game dev, then you have to sign here, and yeah, and I will get your kidney. So that's easy. Okay, two more people coming. Yeah, I think we put chairs too close here. Yeah, it's like radioactive zone. People are scared to sit close to me as usual. I'm normal. Don't worry. So, okay. Okay, a bit behind, but happens. Well, okay, good. Wow, this is weird. Maybe that was a bad idea in the end. Okay, I will not look there or I will break. I think my brain will break. So, uh-huh, 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 like that. I don't see myself. That's good. So welcome to the Gamedev Meetup. Previously, we met in spring 3 times. Then in summer, we had a lot of events. We had demo day, we had summer summit event, we had some drawing workshops and some other stuff. And well, more stuff is coming. So first of all, Game Wave Festival is still happening in Tallinn. This will be a quite big event for Baltic states. So please consider checking out what they're doing. As I know right now, the event will happen at the end of the November, if I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. It's too much info. I get lost. Let's check. Game Wave Festival. It had to happen already, but it was postponed. And it's still happening. Yes, let's see. Game Wave Festival, yes, the end of November. And it will be finals of Nordic Game Discovery Contest. So please check it out. They were listening to the comments of the community in Estonia and they lowered the prices. So the main comment from the community here was that, well, the prices to the event are too high. So they're working on that. And right now they're still gathering sponsors. They're still gathering people who is willing to talk there. So if you have any good or great topic to talk about, then you can present at the Gamewave Festival. It will be around 200, 300 people that are really, really in the topic. You sit here in front of me. Great. You're late, so you're closest to me now. So, as I know, there is already one person who will be presenting at that festival, present here. Yeah, you will be. Yeah, presenting at Gamewave Festival. No, that guy, he will be presenting at Gamewave Festival. Yes, you. You don't know that, but you will. And maybe Jordan will present something there at Gamewave Festival. But no worries, you too can talk at Gamewave Festival. Easy, easy. So this event is something like if someone knows, like in Lithuania, we just had DevGam event. It's similar, not the same, but similar. It's about there's one day about Unreal Engine and Unity, other day about 3D modeling, and then it's business and stuff. And it's held in Tallinn Hotel, and there is a plan to have a pool party and business talks in the spa, in the sauna. So I'm into that. I'm really interested now. Then in Ringtail Academy, we're starting 3 new courses soon, next week, I would say. So if someone is interested to start learning Blender, has no idea about Blender, like what is that? Do you eat Blender? Do you drive Blender? What is Blender? Then you can attend. And another course is about basics of animation. So maybe you know Blender or you know how to make 3D models, but you have no idea how to work with animation. And the third course is about combining 2D and 3D visuals together in a nice way and working like at the same time with both of them. Yes. So those courses are quite cheap. Per month, it's 50 euro. So I think it's a good price for the course. And of course, you can attend offline, online. We record all of the lessons, and it's very easy to use. Then I'm really interested to gather a group of people for the Halloween game jam that will be in Sweden, in Spelkollektiven. I don't know if I'm telling that right, but still. So if you don't know what is a Spelkollektiven, am I right? I don't know. Who knows how to pronounce that right way? Okay, so this is like a giant cool place in Sweden where all the game developers sit together and create magic. So it's like, kindergarten for game developers. And there they create great games and advertise them everywhere and go to different fairs. So it's a cool place, really great concept. It's like, I would say it's like this place, but only for game dev. And there will be a game jam for a full week. But what is great? Free food, free place to sleep, and I will try with IGDA Estonia and those beautiful logos. We will try to cover the expenses to the road. So you can basically almost for free go to Sweden to a really high quality team of game developers and spend a week with them and make some games. Like if you really want to expand your knowledge and try something new and work in game dev, that's a great training and experience. And Spelkollektiven and that place, they're doing their own publishing. So that's a great way to have good contacts in Sweden, and not only in Sweden. If you know Placeholder Gameworks that made Deaf and Taxes and now doing Broken Alliance, they are part of that beautiful place and space. I will get a lot of comments that I'm saying many things wrong. I'm sorry. So anyway, if you're interested, please write me on Discord, and I'm trying to get together some kind of group of people to go there, and that would be great to do. So then, other thing, there will be next year Castle Game Jam. This is like the coolest, craziest, like possible game jam ever, and that would be really great if we could gather a group of Estonians to go there. And yeah, I'm really interested to do that because that's, if I understand correctly, event for more than like 200, 300 developers all together in a medieval castle, and there you will create games. And yeah, that would be a full like conference barbecue party. You see, cool. Is there sauna? So yeah, and why I'm promoting this event, not only because it's a cool event, but we will try and we will cover road expenses to go there. Yeah, I don't know how, but we will do that. I know. Yeah. Yes, this cancel game jam. So as you can see, there are many possibilities in the sense of game jams. There will be this global game jam coming soon. It's December, January. Who remembers? No one remembers. Happens. So there will be a global game jam. I think it's December, January. Yes. Let's see. Game. Aha, January. So this is another great opportunity to work with other developers, create something cool. And I already know that Global Game Jam on those days will be at least in 3 places in Estonia. In Tallinn, it will be in Minor University, and everyone is welcomed. It's open for everyone, not only to the students. In Tartu, they will definitely have a game jam on those dates. That's 100%. And in Pärnu this time, there was first one last year, and this year I will be helping them in Pärnu, and we will make it bigger scale. So we will try to rent a full, I would say, complex with living spaces and working spaces, and we will try to do it free or very cheap. So you can already remember that at the end of the January you can go to Pärnu, and we will definitely have a free spa. So that's another plan that we're developing right now with GameCam. Like not developing, but I gave them idea. They said, yeah, it's not bad. So that means we're developing. That's good. And there are many other ideas right now. We have some kind of cooperation starting with T1. And right now I'm trying to make an art exhibition there about Estonian games art exhibition. So concepts, art, anything that is somehow connected with Estonian gaming. And T1 is providing a totally free gallery for that, like totally free, and they're very open to cooperate. And next meetup in November will be held in T1 in this beautiful cafe they have upstairs on the 4th floor. So we will rent the whole cafe with food and everything. And what's the reason? Well, Gamedev Estonia will be 1 year old. And that means, woo, I've been working here for 1 year and I'm still alive. Oh, cool. So that will be our next meetup. I don't know exact date right now, but it will be November and it will be in T1. And after that, we will see how we will continue. So about those things, another topic is that I've been traveling a lot. I've been invited right now to go to France, Paris, and I've just been with other developers in Germany on Gamescom, and just traveled to Finland. There was Pocket Gamer and IGDA Leadership Day, and I met a lot of cool people, and they're all very interested to go to Estonia and present something. But the problem is that I need to know who to bring here. So we have a budget, we have possibilities, we have contacts, but I need your feedback because I don't know who you want to see here. I just don't want to bring some cool guy just because he's a cool guy. Like, what's the point? Yes, there are many people who are willing to come from Rovio. There are some people who are professionals in developing business ideas from the university in Finland. So those are really big people. Like there is one very nice lady who was main art leader. She will kill me. Yes, I think art lead or producer on City Skylines previously, and right now she's working in Rovio, and she had a TED talk, official TED talk, so she's very open to come here. But I want from you later comments, like who you want to see here. Like you need Unreal developers, you need Unity specialists, you need something connected with business, you need something connected with some specific topic. Then I will find those people and I will bring them here. It's not a problem. I just don't want to do event just to have an event. That's the worst way of thinking of doing things. So Another thing is that we still have Patreon, yes, and we're using that money for some additional expenses that are not covered by the funding. So we have EAS funding, but this can cover only very specific things like renting the space, inviting someone, and maybe some kind of road expenses. But like salaries, food, some details, roll-ups, we cannot cover with that. So that's why we have GameCAD, Placeholder, and Ringtail, who gave us a lot of money, and I love them for that. But still, you can help us too on Patreon. You can subscribe for a full year, or you can make a monthly payment. Right now we have 27 people, but it's not like 27 people. Some of them are companies. Anyway, anyhow, that was very important part to get some money. And from this point, I think we can already go to the more important and interesting topics. Who was the next one? Jordan or the art exhibition? I don't remember. Who wants to go next? Not you. Jordan, you want to go? I'm so happy. Yes. Oh, well, if you don't know Jordan, he's just like, he's so fucking cool. I'm just impressed by that guy. He made the game alone, Haiku the Robot, earned a lot of money, became millionaire. Now he's happy, and he wants to share his life after the release of his game and how it went. He had a really good presentation. He had, like, I would say, awesome presentation on our summer summit, and you can find it online. It's on our channel, and it's like record breaking for us. It's more than like 1,600 views already. Yeah. Yes. So here you go.
Thank you. Just before I get started, who here is a game developer or knows much about games? Come on, put them hands higher. If you go like this, I can't really see. All right, okay. Just so I know who I'm talking to before I start. This is my presentation, Life After Release, Launch, Burnout, and the Future. And I absolutely love this GIF. I don't know if you feel the same, but I feel very strongly about this GIF and I love it. So, who am I? I'm Jordan, the creator of Haiku the Robot, which recently launched on the Nintendo Switch and Steam. Before making games, I worked in marketing, so I like to think that that's sort of my bread and butter. But it's kind of transitioning into making games now. Wow, those colors look interesting. So the game doesn't look that ugly, but that's my game. It's a 2D action adventure. Sorry, it's a 2D action adventure platformer focused on exploring a large interconnected world. And if any of you are like old-time gamers, then it's basically Super Metroid. So Metroidvania formula, very much. You just explore, gain new abilities that allow you to explore more areas, where you can find new abilities, which allow you to explore more areas, and so on and so on.
I'm so sorry.
No worries.
Yeah. I just understood that on live stream they don't see this. Okay, now they see. Woo! Not bad. No. Okay, cool. Yes.
So what I would just be covering quickly is what I did to prepare for launch, so aka the go-to-market plan. The first week of launch, how the Switch port went, and then all the future plans and stuff like this. I was hoping to include Metroidvania world design for Alexei, but I just didn't have time. So next time, another day. Okay, Alexei? So preparing for launch. This is basically like a too long didn't read version of the talk I gave in the summer. So just to give you some context. So for me, this sentence stuck with me from the minute I heard it, and it kind of summarizes why marketing is so important. And this essentially applies to any product, not just video games. So in my case, it's a game. So you could have the best game in the world, but if nobody knows about it, nobody will play it. And the same for a product. You could have the best product in the world, but if nobody knows about it, nobody's going to use it. So I think this is very important, and you should have this mindset at the very beginning to think of marketing when you're developing the game, even though it's not ready, released, or playable at that point. So my two main marketing focuses during development. So this, like I said, you want to try and start marketing as soon as you have something visual that you can put in front of people, even if it's not working. Just like, hey, this is an idea, almost like a concept. What do you think of it? And you start generating interest and gauging that interest, etc., etc. So my two main focuses were building a community and building wish lists. Does anybody know what wish lists are? Yeah, I'll just explain very briefly, just in case you didn't know, and you're too shy to say, no, I don't know what that is. So wish lists are basically like you have Amazon wish lists, you have like all different sorts of wish lists where customers will put products. In our case for games, Steam is one of the biggest distribution platforms. I'm pretty sure if anybody's played a video game on PC, they know what Steam is. So what, as a developer, your goal is to try and get on as many people's wish lists as possible. And why do you want to get on people's wish lists? Is because when you release your game, they will get an email saying that you just released your game. So it's basically like a massive email marketing tool almost. So it's very important to build as many wish lists as possible because you want as many sales on your launch day as possible, because then that will snowball and Steam will put your game in a more prominent position, which hopefully will generate more sales and so on and so forth. So why is building a community important? Not only for just feedback and general stuff like this and play testing and beta testing, alpha testing, all these things, but it's extremely important because when you release your game, you want to try and get as many reviews as possible, because if Steam, it's basically just how the algorithm works. So like if Steam sees that your game has sold well and people are leaving reviews, it can be positive or negative, ideally positive, because that will push it up even more. Then they'll promote it more. They'll just give you a better spot. And the end goal is to reach on this section, which is on the front page. They have a tab which says new and trending, and the goal is to try and reach there. Luckily, HyperRobot did, and it was there for about a week, which is quite impressive. But I'll show you why after I planned it that way, so I could try and get the maximum traction out of the sort of tools that Steam offer anyway. So building wish lists is obviously important because the more wish lists you have, the more people get sent that email, the more people potentially will buy it. And all of this matters because at the end of the day, these distribution platforms, they only care about revenue. So how much dollars have you sold? So this is basically my graph, and I'm just going to quickly go over like the big spikes and how I achieved those big spikes, because just from building a community, you can kind of just hover around these low numbers, which, as you can see, is probably somewhere between 1 to like 50. Which, I mean, 1 to 50 a day is good, because over a period of like 2 years, that adds up to a lot. But I just want to go over like the big spikes as well, because they're very important to how I prepared my launch. So the first one is Tiny Teams event, and these are special events that Steam puts onto their platform, and they look a little bit like this. So it's like a massive, almost takeover of their platform and their front page, and they basically are like curated lists of games. So this is almost just being on the front page, and all you have to do is just apply for an event. A lot of these events are free. They're free to apply. Some have a small fee, which are like $50, and that's completely worth it in terms of the visibility that you get in return. The next one is a teaser trailer. So I had a really old trailer that looked really amateur and terrible. If you're really interested in seeing it, you can try and look it up on YouTube. So I made a new trailer to make it like just to show the kind of improvements that have been made. It was much more polished at this stage, and I posted it onto Reddit and 9gag. So they did big numbers on both Reddit, 9gag, Twitter, Instagram, and all these social media platforms, and that resulted in like a big spike. So basically, what I learned from that is that Steam events are really good because they're very cheap and you get so much in return, especially if they're like free, completely free to apply. It's like infinite gains at that point. And the other thing I learned is that having a good trailer is critical for a game. Here you can see just more events, and this release day reveal trailer did just as good as the teaser trailer, like almost, I don't know, 6 months ago. So that kind of just solidified that these things work, right? Like events work and a good trailer works. So, yep, that was my launch day strategy. Basically, just have a good trailer and try to plan my launch day around a Steam event. So luckily for me, wait, let's go back. Luckily for me, they had a, oh wait, did I not include that slide? Oh no, I did, okay. So luckily for me, they had an event which was perfect for my type of game. So they had a Steam event which was targeted towards roguelikes and Metroidvanias. So my game was Metroidvania, and that slots perfectly into that category. So imagine like a whole event which is literally targeted to the genre that you're making. I was like, I have to capitalize on this, and I have to try and launch my game around that time. So the first spike that you see is the launch day, and naturally launch day does well because if you've been building wish lists for the last 2 years, then you're going to have a big influx of people buying the game, etc. And then on Monday, which is the second spike, is when this event started. Like I said before as well, the goal is to try and get on that new and trending page because then you're just on the front page of Steam. And I was on it on launch day. So Thursday I was on there, Friday I was on there, and then on the weekend, basically no games are released. So I could manage to keep my spot for the weekend until Monday came around again. And then because of the event and because the game was so new, it had a prominent position on the page as well. And again, it just shut up. So it extended the time that the game was on new and trending for like a week. So I launched on Thursday, which is a good day in my opinion to launch because Friday you get to fix a lot of bugs. And I found out now that most people actually buy a lot of games during the week, and then they don't buy many games at the weekend at all. And my theory is that people actually play games on the weekend versus buy the games on the weekend. So I could imagine somebody stuck in an office. I mean, I'm sure we've all been there. Don't know what you're like, kind of tired of your day already, browsing through Steams. What games could I play this weekend? You find something you like, buy it, and then at the weekend you think, Saturday I'm gonna absolutely demolish this game. So yeah, so on Friday that gave me time to fix bugs, especially like the most urgent ones, and I was fixing bugs all the way for the weekend as well. So in my first week I sold about 10,000 units, which is great, I cannot complain. And yeah, after the whole first week was over, I still continued to apply to these Steam events just because they give you so much visibility and it's a really good return of investment. Oh, yeah, so for those interested, the Steam event was called Going Rogue. So I fixed bugs for about for 3 or 4 days, and then I just collapsed. I don't know what came over me. I literally went to Vapiano, and that was it. And then I got home, and I was dead. So I was like, is it Vapiano, or is it COVID, or is it burnout, or is it just the stress? Like suddenly this weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I really, really can't tell. I did like these home tests, these COVID tests, but it said negative, so I don't know. But this is a pretty accurate depiction of what I looked like in that week. And after that week, I just couldn't bring myself to work on the game. It was really, really, really hard. So I think it was a mixture of just everything in the end of the day. Yeah. So what did I do? I was fortunate enough that I could take a break, and I was almost forced to take a break because I got married, and then we went on a honeymoon. So I had pretty much a 2-month break just from that. Like family visiting for a month, and then I was going away on a honeymoon and stuff like that. So I could get like a clean break and just sort of detach myself for a bit, which helped immensely. But during that break, I was actually still fixing a few bugs, but I felt like that was easy. It was like almost being a developer, and you get a Jira task in, and it's like, okay, very easy. I know exactly what I have to do. Fix, done. And you know, it wasn't very hard. I didn't have to use any creative brain or anything like that. So finally, I could muster the courage to kind of work on the switch port. And to be honest, I was working a little bit on the switch port during the honeymoon, but just don't tell my wife that. So I'll just quickly go over like what went smoothly, what was like painful, and all this sort of stuff. So applying for the Switch license, the developer license, was actually really smooth. They just have a portal, and you can basically just go there, sign up for a developer license. They give you that pretty easy, and then you have to fill out like an additional form for the Switch license. Once you get that, you can order like all sorts of dev kits. You get access to all the like forums and documentation on the Nintendo side and all this sort of stuff. I used Unity Engine to make my game, and one of the reasons why I picked it was because it has good porting capabilities and also good documentation, and I can now testify that it has good porting capabilities. Literally, almost with a click of a button, you can just port the game. And all I had to do was just look through, well, basically just play the game through and find where any optimizations were needed. And there's a thing called lock check, which I have no idea if that's an NDA term, but now you know. It doesn't really say much though, does it, itself? Which is basically just their approval system of getting builds approved for the platform, and that's it. And surprisingly, that was really easy. Nintendo is quite good at communication. They're very open and communicative, which is welcoming. And every single time there was an issue with the build, they gave very clear feedback and instructions on what to do and how to fix it, which I appreciate. So what was not so difficult? What was difficult, I mean, adapting the save system to the Nintendo Switch software/hardware. That's how I felt. Basically, it was painful. I didn't understand a thing what was going on, and I think it literally took me about 2 whole weeks just to figure out what the hell was going on with the save system, because it's very different. And yeah, if you ever have to go through it, you'll see. Then I had to optimize a few things in the game. So the map system, I had to refactor completely. A Metroidvania, by the way, is very reliant on your map, because the whole goal of the game is to explore, and it is to like look at the map, see where you haven't explored, go try that new route and stuff like this. And surprisingly, some rope physics, which I just copied a YouTube tutorial, then the Switch was just screaming when I ported it. And getting store pages approved was more difficult than getting the actual build approved, which is ridiculous. So the map system, this is like a screenshot of the in-game map. And the way I had built it originally was more or less you put like these boxes over each. So you have the map and then you put the boxes on top that kind of obscure it. And then once you walk into that room, I just remove the box and you can see what's underneath. So originally I used mask objects. This is the noob me coming out, and that was terrible for performance. As soon as I loaded it onto the Switch, it went about 10 FPS. So it was horrible. But I also had reports from PC players that it was also slow on their computers. So if I was optimizing it for the Switch, at least I knew I was kind of optimizing it for lower end PCs as well. So I had to redo all the tiles, basically all these boxes. There was about 400 of them, and I just swapped them out for simple game objects, which runs perfectly now. Rope physics. So I had all these like juicy rope physics going on, which looked pretty cool, and I just could not optimize it to save my life. I've spoken to some other game developers now, and they could probably do it in like 5 seconds, but I'm pretty noob at all this sort of stuff still, so I just opted for the simple solution, which was delete them names that so it kind of gives the same vibe, but unfortunately that's like the only visual change on the Nintendo Switch that's different to the PC version. Lastly was getting the store pages approved. So each single region has their own requirements. So you have to get approved, like all screenshots, videos, all sorts of stuff. And each of them requests different assets as well, which is annoying. You have to get it approved for America, you have to get it approved for Nintendo, and you have to get it approved for Japan as well. One example is the videos in America require that you have an ESRB rating. So at the beginning it says like this game is for everyone or like mature rating, yada yada. And the other odd thing is that you have to have French translations if you want your game to appear in the Canadian eShop. This is a requirement. So my game isn't even translated in French, and yeah, like Canada's a big market, so it's just ridiculous. So yeah, stuff like that, and that applies for like each region. I remember I applied all the stuff for Japan, and they just basically wrote back, and it was just like, yo, none of it's in Japanese. Can you do all the screenshots in Japanese, please, and the video? And I was like, yeah, sure, when I get back from my honeymoon. So how did it go? So I've talked about like how the process went, but how did the launch go? Then, due to the lack of wish lists and the amount of time it took to get everything approved, I think I started about 2 or 3 months before the deadline, before the date, like the release date I had set. And it took about 2 months to get everything approved. So that first sort of initial approval takes a long time. So I didn't have a Steam page up, well, sorry, not a Steam page, but a store page on the Nintendo Switch up to gather wish list. They now have a wish list feature, which is very cool. But I didn't have it up long enough to gather a significant amount of wish lists. So I focused on just traditional press, so reaching out to like PC Gamer and I don't know, Nintendo Life and all these sort of websites. Unfortunately, as soon as I announced my release date, Splatoon 3 released their go live date as well, and it was the same day. So everybody basically from Nintendo Life and all these big Nintendo websites wrote back to me and just said, look, unfortunately, we have to write all the content for Splatoon 3, guides, all sorts of stuff like that, so we just don't have time to cover your game, which is a shame. But sales performed about 4 times worse than Steam, so it's about a quarter of what Steam did. But the benefit at the end of the day is that it's still a good return of investment because I only spent roughly about a month optimizing 2 things in the game, transferring the save system over, and that's it. So I only lost like a month of my time, and then I still get like decent chunk of revenue from it. So it's cheap to port, and in my opinion, it still has a good return of investment. So future plans. I said I was burnt out and stuff, but now I'm back. So now I'm back and I'm going to do content updates. And the whole idea of a content update is to try and please Steam. Because Steam was essentially like the big money maker for me, then the idea is that you reach out to Steam and you ask for a promotional slot because they have all sorts of promotional slots on their front page. This is the first fold of the front page. And like, if you can get a promotional slot here, which is a daily deal, the guys from Placeholder who, are they here? They're not here today, right? Oh, wow, okay. All right, but they've done this in the past as well, and they see like a huge revenue jump from just having this prime spot on the front page. So the idea is to try and reach out and secure one of them spots. So making a content update just kind of helps you like even more because you can reach out to Steam. You can say, hey, look, I have this planned. You know my game's already sold well, but I have this planned additionally. Is there a possibility that we could get like a promotional spot? And 9 times out of 10, they say yes. So the new game mode that I'm planning to add is a corrupt mode, which basically is a super simple way for us developers to just add a, oh, you only have 1 HP mode. That's what we have to change. And then apart from that, I'm also doing physical copies for Switch, which is fantastic. So when I started this like 3 years ago, I never ever would have thought I'd see my game printed on a physical Nintendo Switch cartridge. So that's super cool. And that's it. So this is the Metroidvania world design that Alexei requested, but another day. Another day. But that's it. Does anybody have any questions? Because I love talking about this stuff, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions. So Alexei asked, is it a huge secret how many wishlists I had at launch? No? Wishlist, yeah? No, I had 37,000 wishlists at launch. So
How do you think that translates? I remember you said the first week 10,000.
yeah.
First week 10,000. So generally, like, you cannot expect more sales.
No, unless you're this trombone champ. Have you seen that? That recently came out. You should look it up. It's pretty cool. unless you have like a viral game, which most people don't. Most people don't. That's the problem. So I think it's not wise to think my game's going to be a viral game. It's,
No. When you were preparing the marketing strategy, like, what would you say? What's the budget that you should set aside? Like, this is the budget that I'm building up this wish list. So over the span of 2 years, you said, or something.
Okay, so Andres asked, what's the budget for an indie dev to like do all this marketing and stuff like this, and what they should set aside. I didn't have a budget at all, so my initial budget was just 0. Like I tested stuff, and I tested Facebook ads, which I put like 100 euros in, which is nothing. if you know how Facebook ads work, that's nothing. So I didn't bother with that. I'm not a fan of like paid, what do you call it, paid marketing. Yeah, I'm more of a fan of like organic marketing. But once I did the Steam event and I saw that netted roughly 2,000 wishlists from like in 2 days, then I was thinking, okay, there are events that do charge money, and the most expensive one that I paid for was $500. But in total, I also tried a 300 euro press campaign sort of thing. So like I contacted an agency, they drafted a press release, which was terrible. I had to edit it like 5 times anyway, but I was paying more for the contacts that they had anyway, so it didn't bother me. And I didn't see much return from that either. So in total, I think on marketing, I spent about $1,000 and that's it. So I didn't have a budget at the beginning, and I didn't set aside a budget, but I wasn't shy of like, okay, I'm going to test this, I'm going to test that, I'm going to, just experiment with what works. And I found that Steam events work, so it's worth investing into Steam events. And my logic was, if the first event netted 2,000 wish lists and I paid $500, that's like 50 cents a wish list. Even if X percentage of those convert, it would still be like a good return of investment. So that's basically how I just approached it. But I honestly just didn't have a budget. I don't know what I would recommend to people though. So I don't know if that answers your question, to be honest.
Well, it sort of does, but you as a marketing person, would you still go for like, you would try to burn money on other like targeted ads to like create traction? Let's say even you would create a Reddit post, and now how am I gonna like show people in there? So, like, it really gets pumped up. So like, what kind of like, do you think it would be worth it to experiment with such things?
I think for paid marketing, you have to have a lot of money. That's the thing. It's otherwise you either go all in or you just don't bother. So I think if you don't have that amount of cash at the beginning to burn, then personally I don't believe in it either. That's the thing. I've worked in companies and I've worked in marketing, and I've seen the data, and I'm just like, how the are you spending so much money on like just really bad signups that never return ever again? So it's like my whole my sort of yeah, I guess I'm biased in that sense. That's what I want to say. And the Reddit post that I mentioned, that's all organic. It's like it cost me nothing to put the Reddit post up. This fella had a question as well.
Did you do any community building before
Yeah. Like for the whole 3 years that I was making the game, I did community building the entire time. I think it's very important, and not only just for like the early reviews, like I highlighted here, but also just for feedback for these early adopters that want to play the alpha, play the beta, give feedback, all this sort of stuff. Speedrunners freaking love this kind of stuff as well, which is great because they find the most bugs. But also, if you build a community early, it gives you other opportunities for like crowdfunding, which is also what I did. I didn't actually include it, but I also did a crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter, and that was essentially the entire funds that I had for the entire project.
Where was it mostly? Like on Discord or
It was mostly on Instagram and Twitter actually, because Reddit is like a bit weird. Reddit's like nobody follows people on Reddit; they just follow subreddits, right? So it's kind of if you post occasionally in the subreddit, then you kind of in that community, and then you can be like, oh hey guys, like you know this game I've been sharing, it's running a Kickstarter now, and all this sort of stuff. How did I decide on the price? So I did a bit of like what do you call it, like market analysis of like similar titles and similar games, and then also comparing how long they've been out for and all this sort of stuff. And I really wanted to put it because what I found out is that they're mainly 15 euros, especially for the size of my team, which is essentially just me. And I was really reluctant to put it at 15. I really wanted to put it at 20. And the main reason is because of just inflation and stuff like this. I was thinking I'm not going to shoot myself in the foot here and put it lower, because you have to think about when you discount it as well. So the 20% discount, that's already like $16, and at a 25% discount, that's $15. So that's more or less what people are willing to pay for it anyway. But it's a tricky subject because it sounds like a bit scummy that you're purposely putting it higher just to take, because you're going to take it off. But at the end of the day, I think you do have to be mindful of this sort of tactics, because as soon as you launch, that sales graph tails off pretty much immediately. Like after a week or two, it'll tail off. So the only other way to generate revenue throughout the lifetime is to either do like content updates and discounts. Yep. So I added that pretty early to the game, and it's just a simple Excel spreadsheet that I have a key and then English and other languages. So it just looks up the key and then picks the right string essentially. Yeah, I paid. So those were like stretch goals in the Kickstarter to like add it to different languages, and I picked those languages just based off of the community that I had at the time. So I looked at like on Instagram, Twitter, and all these things like where the following is, sort of thing. And obviously, United States is the biggest one, but I've already got that covered. Just games in English anyway. But then I translated it into Spanish and Portuguese, which now in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have bothered, because Steam has regional pricing, and you can essentially get the game in Brazil for like $2. I mean, I covered my costs, what it cost to translate, so it's not too bad. But these sort of things, especially because it's like my first time as well, so you don't really think about these things until you go through it, and then you're like, oh well, that was a silly mistake. But it wasn't, like I said, too detrimental or anything. It didn't cost me much. But yeah, if you want to get the game for dirt cheap, then just make yourself an Argentinian account and you can get it for like $1. Literally.
One more question. You said you was developing this game for 2 or 3 years, but how you live all this time, like working for free on the month?
With the monks. So I was working at my full-time job for the first year and a half, more or less, because it just started out as a hobby, really. I just had like a really shitty day at work, and I just came home, and I was just like, fuck, man, I've got to do something else in my life. So I just Googled how to make a game, and that's basically just where it started. So it was just very much a hobby, and I did like a lot of smaller games that were like, I think I did this because Mandalorian came out, and like I tried to do a Baby Yoda Tamagotchi type of thing, which they're now making, which I was like, what the hell? Like 2 years later. Anyway, but so I made like a bunch of weird small games like this, but I always kind of had this one slowly progressing. If you see my first boss, it looks nasty. It looks real nasty, like super clunky and everything. But yeah, as I learned, I slowly got better and better. And unfortunately, at work, my happiness was going down and down. So I had to make a decision of like, do I go look for a new job, or do I try a Kickstarter, for example, raise some money so I can just live, and then at the end of the day, if the game flops, I'll just look for a new job, which was what I was going to do anyway. So after talking to my partner, she was like, yeah, it's no brainer, just do a Kickstarter and see what happens. So did the Kickstarter before quitting my job. So I didn't just like quit my job and then do the Kickstarter. So I already had like funds secured before making the transition to full-time. And COVID happened, which sounds really bad for me to say, but it was kind of good because I didn't spend as much money as I planned because we were just stuck indoors all the time. Restaurants weren't open, all this sort of stuff, so just had to cook meals. Oh, bowl. Well, occasionally some bowl. Bowl food. Yeah. No. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. You're a great audience. I hope you learned something.
Thank you very much. That was great. And wow, whew, 8 o'clock. We need to hurry up a bit. Did you send your presentation somewhere? Facebook? Okay, great. Let's do that. Okay, my screen. I will add the camera here. So everyone, you can now check Mr. Morris' Instagram channel. I think Instagram is pretty active there, and yeah, and buy the game. Okay, good. Wow. Perfect. Tiny me. So now let's go to Facebook. Oh yeah. Сюда? PDF-ку ведь тоже как-то можно презентовать, да? Present. Вот. Так. Okay, the next presentation. I'm sorry we don't have a break right now because time, Friday, everyone will fall asleep in an hour. I know that. So let's continue. So please tell us, what are you talking about?
First of all, hello everyone. This is very unusual setting for me to present something. Usually I work at the Museum of Contemporary Art of Estonia. Thank you very much, Andres, for this opportunity to to tell you about this very cool idea that I think that might actually really interest some of you, maybe a lot of you. So today I would like to speak about video games in contemporary art and present you an idea of an exhibition that is going to be happening already very soon in the end of this month, starting the end of this month. Has anybody heard about EKKM, Estonian Museum of Contemporary Art? Yeah, I see only one hand. That's all right. Two hands. At least someone knows. If anyone doesn't know, then EKKM is Estonian Museum of Contemporary Art. It's near Linnahall. The address is Kursi 5. And why I wanted to talk about this exhibition is that we're going to have a contemporary art exhibition with artists who are very active gamers, and the whole topic of the exhibition will be about your experience in gaming, about their experience in gaming. And the curator of the exhibition is Marko Laimre. Marko Laimre is a crazy Estonian artist, quite famous. He was teaching in Estonian Academy of Arts for like around 10 years, so he has a lot of influence on other artists in Estonia who are now young and emerging. And he's a gamer, and he's doing a PhD in dystopian games and contemporary art. And they're like a little bit about our institute, fake it till you make it belief. But then in some years it really developed in a very important art institution. And now we have 4 to 5 art shows per year. They're usually professional artists and curators making the shows, and it's an important institution in Estonian as well as European art landscape. And yeah, we don't have much money because our people don't usually have money. Although people think that maybe artists sometimes can sell and make millions, but that's like not happening actually. But we are supported by the Ministry of Culture and the Cultural Endowment and the City of Tallinn lately as well. And we're always free because we believe that contemporary art is very important to talk about contemporary issues, problems in society, and we want to make everything to enable it and to bring as many people to EKKM as possible. So you're all welcome at any time. So about the exhibition that is going to happen, the curator, as I already said, is Marko Laimre. He's doing his PhD in Academy of Art right now on dystopian video games and contemporary art. And I think it's not such a big surprise that gaming can be connected to art, because obviously both of them require a lot of design, a lot of visual aesthetics, a lot of creativity. But it's something that it's a topic that is really, really emerging in the past years. For example, Andres maybe knows he also participated in organizing one other exhibition in Narva that was also dealing with video games, although there they had actually 2 exhibitions. One was about video games and the other one was art exhibition. And here it's this big installative exhibition that tries to connect the two. So you're seeing art but experiencing video games, and there will be different installations, videos, sculptural objects, and different artists in addition to Marko, who are working with gaming. Marko is just researching a lot how we can perceive our reality. And of course, in the studies of aesthetics, virtual realities and and also realities that are shown in video games created this big turn, because art kind of always reflected on the world, on the society. But then when other realities, digital realities came along, it kind of shifted everything. So that is why it's very interesting for artists. Then we will have 4 other artists. Martin Bushman, whose work is based on Fallout 76, I think. I'm sorry, there's a mistake there. He's actually a portrait photographer, and he will be presenting his in the game, and he's really interested in the show that aspect of gaming through his art. Then Camilo Relli, maybe you know him from Level Up Museum. He was, yeah, and his work is basically just like a rat gag about guns in video games, super ironic. And also he created this artist game, which is a game one can play in the museum, but it's created with an intention to be an art piece as well. So that's another work that's going to be presented on the exhibition. Keijo Maasik is a young Estonian artist who also plays a lot, and she will be presenting a video interview that is taking place in the PlayerUnknown's Battleground game, where she's playing with Kadi Kuusmann. If you know, Kadi Kuusmann is a famous Estonian esports player and professional gamer, and she is gonna discuss with her different topics about being a female professional gamer. And Reimo Tankso-Võsa is actually also a professor at the Estonian Academy of Art, and he explores the temporal shifts in video games. So this is going to be his piece, where he's trying to show how it works in games, that sometimes the time is moving very fast and sometimes it's again very slow. It's maybe something that people who are not gaming can't really experience and can't really imagine how it is to experience that if you're playing a lot. So he's trying to build the walls and make a projection and lighting so that we can feel how it is to be in that game for a long time. And actually, Reimo Tankso-Võsa, he uses a lot of VR in his art, in his practice. Not in this case, but usually he's very interested in that thing. So yes, that's a little overview about what the exhibition is going to be. As you can see, it's going to cover a lot of different aspects of the gaming, and I think that it's very interesting that such an exhibition is being shown at the Contemporary Art Museum of Estonia, because for us it was kind of like shocking when Marko just flew in. Our team doesn't know about gaming at all, so we were kind of shocked, because it is a very specific topic, but at the same time there are a lot of very big fans of gaming. A lot of people who are gaming, of course, know that, and it's interesting to bring this very interesting experience of them to the museum, to the context of the museum. So usually we also have some public and educational programs accompanying every exhibition, and during this exhibition we will actually have 4 events or panel discussions. The topics are shown here. So we're going to discuss gaming and its psychological impact, video games in contemporary art, digital games in sound, digital games in dystopian geography. So if any of you feels that they're kind of expert in that field or have a lot to say about these topics, then please let me know. Yes? Yeah, it's gonna come, don't worry. And then I can include you in our public program And here you can see our picture from our last event during our other exhibition, which was actually on the topic of AI and creativity. It was super interesting panel discussion and a great event. We also do educational programs for young people, and of course, a lot of teenagers play. That's why we think that it's gonna bring some new audiences to the museum, and there's gonna be some tours and audio guides in all the languages, because we think that contemporary art is something that should be explained in your mother tongue, because you need to understand it, because not people don't often go to contemporary art museum if they don't know anything about it. And here's the message. How can you help us? How can you help make this idea happen, make this exhibition happen? Well, usually we get funding from Cultural Endowment of Estonia, but this exhibition is a little bit different because the pieces, the artworks are really very technological and interactive. That's why they need more funding. And usually people in the art world are not that much into gaming, not like understanding how much money is needed for, I don't know, artist game development. So yeah, we're lacking some money from our production budget. Then also we need 7 gamer chairs for the exhibition. I know they're super expensive, yes, and we're not trying to buy them, but it would be super great if maybe anyone could lend us their old chair, maybe for 1.5 months or something, because this would really add to the whole experience, because bringing this big theme to the museum is something very new, and we would really try to support that. And also Camille Orelli has this crazy installation room where he needs this crazy looking gamer PC. So maybe if anyone has some cool looking PC, then let me know. And of course, you're all very, very welcome to share information in your gaming communities, because I think it is really a place where different worlds, different audiences can meet. And I think that speaking about this topic in a way that artists do it is really something fresh, maybe for both parties. So you're all very welcome to see the exhibition, and bring your friends. And of course, if you're interested, how can we collaborate? If you would like to help us, we can make a showcase of Estonian or like your video game on the occasion of opening, or make a workshop during the exhibition, because it's the right place to do it there, to bring some super new audiences. Of course, it goes without saying, you're welcome to come to our place for special guided tours. If you want to organize a cool, artsy Christmas party, there's a space in EcoGame Bar. That is a really cozy cafe bar that is also in art museum, so you get to meet the artists. And of course, all the coverage in all of our communication channels. So I think that was it. I will leave my contacts here if you have any further questions, maybe later. You can always call, write to us. We are very open to your collaboration, because also, as I said, this topic for our team was something so new that we kind of got shocked by it. So if we get some support from actual game developers who know what they're talking about, that would be super great. And thank you again for letting me take your time. And now's the time for questions. Thank you. Yes.
If I sound
Okay, all right.
Are there a lot of exhibitions about looking at art or looking at movies?
Actually, there are some big.
Movies themselves, looking at the experience.
I think, yeah, there are exhibitions about looking at moving pictures and movies, but they're usually not that popular exhibition because it's a very niche topic. You know, it's like art about art is kind of like meta. So, yes. Mhm. Well, some do. Marco kind of tries to interact them. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I get you, but I think that it's also something that is very dictated by the art field and the so-called art world and the community who is actually there. Yeah. Yeah, but it's also like I'm of course agreeing as well that video games are art, but there's also like different types of art, you know. Yeah. Why though? What makes a good art piece? We can discuss it later. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I think that in case of these artists, exactly. I think when if anyone saw I doubt, but if anyone saw the exhibition in Narva, that was also like connecting video games and art. It was really like here are the video games and here is art about video games. Whereas these artists, since they are very active gamers, they actually kind of use video gaming as art. Yeah. Yeah, I totally get that. But I think that the good news is that there are some like developments in that direction because really this is something that people are starting working with, especially with the new generation. Like I don't know, I myself studied in Estonian Art Academy and like things that are connected to digital realities, maybe not video games, but something moving to that direction is something that is really deeply discussed. So maybe in some years we'll see the changes. I think actually we had, for example, one exhibition about video art, and that's another topic. Just a quick comment. Yeah, but then we were also discussing like, are movies art? So it's like still it's very tough to discuss about it. Yeah. Yeah, but thank you very much for raising this very intriguing question. I think it's something that really touches on a lot of you. Any other questions? All right.
That was already.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's contemporary art. That's totally different world. I know that very well because I was one. Yes, that was my exhibition in Narva with Camille and others, and artists and contemporary artists. Yeah, they have mostly different view on the games and whole this landscape, and we have really different view on their activities. So combining two different communities and trying to do something together, that is hard. That's really hard. So I hope everything will go well. I will of course make additional posts about things that you need. And I really invite developers to go to the exhibition and really try to talk with the artists and cooperate. And who knows, something might change. So we have our final presentation for today, as I know. Is there someone ready already? Ready already? You need to use your laptop, or can you just send me the presentation, or our live stream will break? Discord, Facebook, Discord. Oh, come on, stop writing me. Okay. Oh. Boom. Easy. Better. No Facebook anymore. Sorry for that. There was on the background there is a heated discussion about the future of the video game museum in Estonia. So yeah, many things happening at the same moment. Okay. How is our... Ну, в Дискорде. Кинь мне в Gamedev презентацию.
Попробуй ее открыть.
Давай. Ну, давай попробуем. Я думаю, да. Слушай, ну, подсоединим в какой-то момент просто. Да, есть переходничок, мы просто воткнем твой. Да. Но пока что давай презентацию отсюда, тогда в лайвстриме ее увидят. Так. Ага, да, все, супер.
Я не вижу, что я показываю.
Все нормально? Давай я тебя открою так. Вот, ты видишь, что-то показывает.
Так, а я могу это выключить? На стрелочке?
Так, на стрелочке. Проверим. Да. Все, работает.
Such a great time to talk about dystopian post-apocalyptic world, right? We share the topic. So hello, I hope you're having a great time today here. My name is Arkady. I'm co-founder of Membrane. Today I will share some details about an upcoming game that we're building. And a small disclaimer, it's really early stage. We're in the stage of a prototype right now, so I'm going to share with you some overview
overall concept, arts. I will share with you a prototype as well, and some of my thoughts as well. So, what is Membrane? Membrane is an online multiplayer third-person PvP shooter. It is set in post-apocalyptic world, and to be precise, it's dystopian biopunkish world. Yeah, this guy is from our team as well. He cannot walk right now. So, humanity was somewhere in the future. Humanity was on the edge of ecological collapse. The air became almost unbreathable. Deadly toxins were humiliating people. But as it sometimes happened, humanity came up with a solution, and due to the scientific breakthrough, we were able to create genetically modified plants which were able to consume as many CO2 and as many deadly toxins as possible. But again, as sometimes happened, something went wrong, and those plants were too aggressive against CO2 and too aggressive against everyone that was producing the CO2, especially humans. So there was another edge for humanity, and humanity, once more time, came up with a solution and escaped from the environment into the cities under the domes. Under the domes, which are called membranes. This is actually the real story that inspired us. It's a story from the mid-20th century. People were actually considering building domes over the cities, and even some stories were even covered by huge magazines. So, but there was one problem inside of those cities. The energy and the resource that they had to consume, and that's called plasma, and you could get it only from one resource, is from the plants itself. So people had to go outside of the cities and get those resources. Those are our arts, by the way, which I'm showing right now. But I want to tell you another small story from the real life that is very connected to our game. It was told first time by a writer in Nabokov last century. He was telling the story about Paris Zoo and about the first drawing that was made by an animal. By the way, no one knows if it's true or not. But it's a meme that started a lot of pieces of art and a lot of literature. So the first ever animal drawing was made by an ape in the Paris Zoo, and the first drawing was a cage. So that's the first thing that they draw, and that's the only thing that this ape saw actually. So humanity, basically, it's how it's connected to our game. Basically, it's the same problem. We have technology, we have science, but what do we always draw? We always draw a cage. So whatever happens, we always draw a cage. That's how it's connected to our game. That's the cage, by the way. Yeah, but our story is actually about profession. About profession of stalkers who go outside of those membrane cities and fight for the resource. They get those. They fight with environment, basically, with plants and with their competitors, other stalkers. And they get this plasma. They bring it back home and get rewarded. So that's the story. For some reason, yeah. So those are our stalkers. And now let's speak about the game itself. You actually play the game as the mercenary house. So what do? As a mercenary house, you create from genetic material. You actually create people. You create those stalkers. You upgrade them. You equip them. You customize them, and then you send them to the wilderness to get this resource. And of course, you upgrade your facilities as well. So those are facilities. Those are our facilities. You can apply genetic material to the people you grow to let them get abilities. So, but the core gameplay is actually a third-person shooter, as I previously mentioned. The main game mode will be bounty hunt. I don't know if you know about this mode or not. So who knows? Probably no one, right? So what do? It's a high-stakes game. When you spawn only one time on the map, you have to locate the monster boss with the plasma inside of it. You have to go through the environment fighting plants and fighting other people. You have to kill the boss. You have to extract plasma from this boss, and you have to escape from the map. When you escape from the map safely, you bring back home resources, you can upgrade your stuff, etc. So, some key aspects of our gameplay. As I told you, we have characters to upgrade and to customize. You equip them, and you apply genetic material to actually have skills, passive and active skills that you can use inside of our game, like in-core gameplay, not in the lobby. It synergizes very well with weapon mutations. What weapon mutations is, can you imagine like standard weapon, but on the map, you kill some of the plants, and some of the plants have needed material to have this mutation. So we apply mutation cartridge for your gun, and it totally changes the appearance of the gun and the gameplay. How this gun behaves. For example, we have a mutation on our prototype that triples the bullets basically. That's one of the examples. So why do we have such kind of gameplay? Because we think that every single match should have different build for people. So part of the build you make in the lobby, but part of the build you actually collect on the map. So it is a bit random, but it's more fun. About our enemies, we work on that right now. We only concept our enemies. So I'm just showing you some of the arts and how the fight will look like. So we can imagine here that's a boss fight one for me, right? It's not very clear from this screen, but still, yeah, bosses will be huge. Some inspiration from the real mythology and arts that we take. Now goes 18 plus content, so kids please. Yeah, it's enough. So yeah, and let's now speak about user-generated content. That's another topic that I wanted to raise. We only prototype that one, but we are a free-to-play game. And what is the most common problem of the free-to-play games? It's the content itself, because you have to constantly update the content and you have to keep the interest of people on the high level. So we think, and that's our assumption, that user-generated content will actually help doing that. So partly we rely on people who are going to create the content for us. Yet it's to be decided how do we do that. So we consider different options. Should we create SDK ourselves, or should we rely on something else? But the most important part here is the financial part. How do we pay people, and how do we distribute royalties at all? Because current solutions, they are not fit for the user-generated content, because we shouldn't do that the old way. So now we're considering different options, including blockchain. We are experimenting with the blockchain solutions to reward artists for their art, so that money distribution will be constant, constant and much higher than the regular traditional way of paying them. And now I'm going to show some references so you could understand more about our game and more about the direction. Where are we going? And then I will show you the prototype, but I need to show you that on our computer. Yeah, so Hunt Showdown, it's obviously the main reference because they have more or less the similar similar game modes. It's a high stakes multiplayer game with PvE elements inside of it. And Escape from Tarkov. That's the second example of what we actually trying to achieve. XCOM 2, why do we have it in references? Because it has the meta gameplay that totally fits our meta gameplay. So we have a base, you have to upgrade to be better, and you have to send people to fight for a fight. The Division, because they have as well PvP plus PvE modes, and the whole concept of having different stuff mixed between multiplayer and bots. Outriders, because we will have a game with a pretty similar look, and the same goes with Returnal. Borderlands is because we're moving towards this style. We still don't want to go so far and so fun. We have more darkish thoughts about the game and about our world, so it's not so funny. Scorn, it's not so ugly, but still they have kick-ass weapons and kick-ass biological stuff. We actually took inspiration from it. Maybe you can notice that, like here, right? So Bioshock, obviously, because we have similar worlds, and Cyberpunk, because it reminds us of Cyberpunk a bit. We have similar. It's not. I'm not saying that it will be something similar. I'm saying that the world inside of the city is pretty much similar. So yeah, now I want to hear your questions, and while I'm hearing your questions, I will switch computers so I can show you a prototype. Okay. Please. Yeah. We're from Estonia. We have approximately 15 people full time, and we have approximately 15 people part time. Like, it's cool. But we want more. They're not local. We have, yeah, but we have local. Yeah, that's true. But actually, we have one concept artist local. He's local, but he's not presented here. But yeah, we know that. Yeah, our concept artists are great. Like, but we still we need more because we're building and we're raising at the same time, and we've raised some funds already, but we need more. And to get more, you have to sell your world basically as well, right? And to sell the world, you have to sell pictures. Maybe we are just idealists who think that people care. Yeah, we have a prototype. It's really early stage right now. We have like this. We have it's quite difficult to speak with a microphone and to play a multiplayer game on a Mac, to be honest. But still, we no. So what we have right now, we have a training map where we have a death match for us to test out the multiplayer and to test out the gunplay. So we know for sure that we will destroy this game mode in order to create a proper game mode that I've talked previously, right? So for example, that's the mutation I just got. We have the 3D model of mutation applied as well. You can see that. So what it does, I didn't see what kind of mutation I took right now, but we have like it totally changes how your weapon behave basically. So let me finish this mutation. Yeah, I cannot shoot right now because I have a Mac, so I can shoot without ADS right now only. But still, what we are going to create on this map, we're going to our goal is to make people understand what kind of visual style will we have on this map. So we will transfer it to our main game mode, but still we're working on every 3D object on the map right now, and the character as well. Character will be in like a couple of weeks or so. So we just didn't manage to finish the character before my presentation. So yeah, it's for sure it will be quite cartoonish. It's not represented here on the map right now. Only it's basically pure gameplay. Yeah. Yeah, you can play multiplayer game. For example, we can play with you. I can send you a build. You can open the build and we can play together. You can fight. We have like statistics who wins or who not. We have 3 abilities and we have 2 mutations for guns. Why do we do that? Because we were testing out how mutations actually work with skills and will it be a mess or not. And sometimes it was a total mess, to be honest, because for example, you take the mutation and you become just a god. It's no point to use regular guns with mutations. But now we fixed it and we found a balance more or less. Yeah, and we're creating bosses right now. So the main game loop. What? I'm dead. Okay, sorry. I think they are creating bosses right now. Yeah, hopefully they do. Yes. Hard to say. We have different plans for different options of raising funds. It's approximately minimum 7, something like that. Yeah, minimum. Should be more, yeah. We are aiming to raise more than 20. Aiming to raise, yeah. We already rose money, like we've raised money, but not enough, of course. Angel investors, yes. Angel investors, yeah. Oh, someone just killed me. Someone just killed me. That guy killed me.
What is the main difference from other games?
You broke the game, by the way. Main difference? Main difference that unlike other multiplayer shooters, you actually have, first of all, you have meta gameplay where you actually build around your characters. You send your characters, you have different abilities that you choose before a game and that you actually game during the gameplay. So yeah, we think it gives the variability of stuff inside of the game. So mixing meta and core gameplay. Plus the world, of course. We don't know. Like, yeah, sure. You can. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's very hard to organize a budget in circumstances when you don't know how much will you raise next round. No. No. The question is, what will we do if we will not, for example, raise the round or we will raise less? Yeah. Yeah. You, very big scope? Yeah, it is huge. Yeah, it is. I'm also scared when I'm presenting that because it's like I'm swearing that I will. Yeah. 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 Well, our next goal is to create a gray box map of the bounty hunt mode, because as you've said, we need bosses, and that's the key element. And we are concepting bosses and testing out bosses right now. So basically, we need to be sure it works, and then we implement it into vertical slice and show investors basically multiplayer part separately and bounty hunt part without. There are options of how do we represent the huge scope to investors. For now, it's just the deathmatch. It's Overwatch. That's it. Yeah, and it's broken. Anyways, he's fired already. Uh-huh. Yeah, would be cool. And we also we want to receive feedback. We want to receive some help in one way or another. I mean, arts development. Yeah, we know. Now, yeah. So we need to represent the style from those pictures into the game. That's the main that's the main pain right now. Any more questions? You can contact with me right now. Like after. Yeah. I'll share you my contacts. Yeah, please. Warframe, you mean? Um, uh, Kinda. There were some vibes. We actually have one of our artists from Warframe, and he drew some kind of cartoons for them or whatever. But actually, we didn't consider it seriously. We were aiming to a bit different games. We were taking Hunt Showdown plus, for example, Returnal, because they have darkish third-person shooter, or how was it? Not Overwatch, but I totally forgot the game. The name of the game was, yeah, one moment. Outriders, yeah. Because the gameplay of Outriders is more or less similar. They have skills, plus they have guns, plus they also have this darkish atmosphere. So we more or less are the same. Questions? Yeah, we can talk. Yeah, me too. So I guess that's it then. Thank you for your attention. Have a great night. We have social media, but they're super early stage, basically 100 people or something like that. Okay. Well, people can already start yeah. Yeah.
So about the Game Wave Festival, I've just read that there will be a special qualification round to the Nordic Games competition. So from the Game Wave Festival, your game can go to the finals and then win, the competition of the indie games. In any way, that's the end of the official part of today's event. Unbelievably, we finished specifically on point. Yes. We have one comment on the YouTube that it was really hard to see the game because you've seen the game here, Yeah, but from the live stream, they saw only like a small part of the screen behind. Well, sorry guys, that's why you have to go specifically to the event. So, I think that for today we will finish, and we will meet again on the next meetup in November. There are many other plans and things happening. There is at the moment Full Cycle Academy going in Pärnu, and yeah, very proactive autumn. Tartu is very active. I know that Henrik Hansson and Tedos Pak, they got a new round of funding, so we will have even more events. And if you have any comments, you have any news about your games and projects, please tell them specifically to me. Then I can share it on social media of the Gamedev Estonia, because otherwise I don't have enough time to see the news myself. And thank you all for coming. I'm very happy that so many people came. Next time we will meet already in T1, and it will be fun. There is a paper that you have to sign that will help me a bit. You don't really have to, but I think it's good if we will have most of the people there in the paper. What does it say? Ah, you know, name, surname, your bank account, this, you know, small number at the back of your card. No. It's for the EAS. That paper means that the event was real. That it's not just magic. That I didn't, you know, think about this event in my head and just voila. So that's all. Thank you all, and we'll meet next time. Bum, bum, bum.